Hi, folks, and welcome to IB Matters. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to walk you through, I think, a pretty useful page on our Minnesota IB website. And so at the top, you'll notice it says mnibschools.org. If you go there and then navigate yourself to Introduction to the IB Programs right here, it'll take you to this page. And as you look at this, we've got some instructions. It's meant to be self-guided, although I just talked to someone today who leads their new teachers through this as a group together with the coordinator and the new teachers. And that's, they said, worked very well for them too. But let's talk about this as if you're doing it yourself or you just want to point someone to this. It has instructions about the target audience. It says how we recommend you use the resource. And what the main thing that it works on is this reflection journal that is the heart of this. And so depending on what your school is, if you're new to a PYP school, an MYP school, or whatever, just click on what it is that you're new to. And so let's pick PYP. And it'll instruct you to open up your own version of this. It's a Google Docs that you're forced to make a copy. So this becomes your copy, and there it is right there. And so you can take a look at it. What's in blue here are questions that are scattered throughout the self-guided tour back on the web page. And then as you answer the questions, having done tasks along the way, this will expand. It's 2.5 pages now. It'll be much longer by the time you're done with it, I hope. And you can see what the basic skeleton of the whole program is. So let's go back to the web page and kind of walk through how that is used. So you go through, you open that up, and there are some the way this is set up is that the main page, the first page on the website, and this portion of the website, is essentially a general introduction to IB, which is common to all 4 programs. So it goes through the mission, the learner profile, the concept of international mindedness, and your approaches to teaching and learning, otherwise known as ATLs. So you go through those things, and here we go, just scrolling down. The first thing you do is just kind of what is an IB education. It's a video that is from the IB website that I've linked into this website. And one of the common things you'll see here is these little bits right here that are kind of with this space background and white lettering. Those are questions that are back on the reflection journal. So if I go back to the reflection journal, you'll see here's the first question after watching the video, record what makes the IB different or the same compared to what you've learned and done previously, and so on. So that is the question that is located right here. And so whenever you see one of those, go to the reflection journal and then reflect, please, okay? And then the next one is talking about the IB mission, and gives you a little introduction to it and just lists it here, basically. And again, going back to the reflection journal, the second question is about the mission. And so here you go, record what aspects of the IB mission stand out to you. Is there a line or phrase that you particularly agree with, or something that makes you wonder? And does it agree with the mission of your school? So those are, again, the pattern is go through the main page and then answer the reflection journal questions that you'll see scattered throughout this. Next one is just an introduction to the learner profile. Again, I've got a video link there that does takes right from the IB website. And then there's also the concept of international mindedness, the description here. You can link out to international mindedness in the PYP. And again, to link the two, the learner profile and international mindedness. And here's another one of those questions that you can see here that is back in the reflection journal. So this might take you, quite a while to do all these things, or you might be one of those people that, buzzes through this pretty quickly. Then for, again, a common thing, the approaches to teaching and learning, or the ATLs, we've got a very short little slide deck here. So this slide deck is it's a particular slide. So is this one here. In other programs, there might be 2 or 3 slides for this part to go more deeply into it. But this gives you an introduction to what the ATLs are. And let me just go ahead and open this one. I'll pop this open here so you can see what this is. This is really just a slide that has the documents or the terms from ATT, the approaches to teaching. And you can see I've got it linked out if you want to go see the original document, what is an IB education, page 6. That's where that comes from. So you can see where I drew these from to do this. By the way, you might be noticing that this is a lot of what you do. If you're taking an official IB training, this is a lot of what you do in the morning session the first day, getting introduced to what IB is. And again, the Reflection Journal has some questions here for you to, from what you've seen so far, what aspects of IB teaching do you feel most comfortable with, and goes on from there. Now, that completes the introduction to all the programs. In other words, the commonalities between all the programs is all in this first page. And then the way this works is that at the bottom, depending on which one you're in, and excuse me, the screen is not quite sized right, but down at the bottom it says Intro to the PYP, the MYP, the DP, and the CP. And if I click on one of these, and I think it's a little off screen, so I'll just click below the yellow one, Introduction to the PYP program, and all of them have this same format. We start out with a short podcast from our podcast called IB Matters, and back a few years ago, I did these introductions to the programs with one of our local coordinators. And so this is the one for the PYP. As you can see, it's 18 minutes long, and you can just click out, listen to this at any time you want, or you can go directly to the IB Matters podcast, and this would be one of the really early ones from back in 2019. But it does have the basics in there for you. And then here's a video. Again, by the way, the Reflection Journal is brought into play again here with the question you see here after listening to the podcast. And then we go to another video. This is the introduction to the IB program, or to the primary years program from the IB website, another piece of reflection. And then what is the PYP? And this is from the public website on ibo.org. Then what the basic tenets of the IB primary years program, and then some icons here that then bring up the specifics of the PYP and their approaches to teaching and learning, how they look at learner agency, action, and so on, and also the enhanced PYP, which is the newest version. This does reflect the fact that there were some changes made a few years ago, and so now those are still shown as part of this document. Then we go into, again, more reflection, and then what are the key elements of the transdisciplinary model, which is a big part of the PYP approach to teaching. Transdisciplinary learning is one of the main tenets of the PYP. And then, again, some slide decks down below here talking about the subjects, agency and action, and the exhibition. This is actually a little video. And so if I pop this PYP subject groups out, this will be, you can see it right here, just talks about this. And there are several slides to go with this, or 2 slides, I guess, to go with this one. Back to the website, if I go to agency and action, what is learner agency? And you can see there are several things here. Let me pop that one out too so you can get a better look at it. So what is learner agency, agency and action in the PYP, and then some more things, including a couple slides here that we've found from outside the IB range. Sonia Terborg's sketch on slides, and you can take a look at those at your will. So this is just an example of how one of the programs is fleshed out a little bit. This is the PYP, talking about their key concepts and definitions. By the way, there are some changes coming up. In fact, this is 2024 as I'm recording this, and there are some changes that I may have to update with this particular page. It's one of the things, if you see a change or something I need to do, contact me at director@mnibschools.org, and I will get back to this document and make sure it's updated to the latest. We also go further here with another video and another podcast if you'd like. This is specifically about the early years. So the PYP also offers things for the age group 3 through 5 years old, which is generally thought of as preschool, but they call it the early years. And so we do have a little video, an additional audio, I should say, podcast about the early years. And then finally, as you finish your reflection journal, we have a chance for you to kind of take a look at this, for us to thank you for doing this. And if I go back to the reflection journal, one of the things I didn't mention earlier is that we hope that you will contact your coordinator, in this case the PYP coordinator in your building, and have them work with you as you have questions, and let them know that you're doing this process, going through this process, and I think you'll find it helpful. So that's a quick tour. I only talk specifically about how the PYP is addressed, but of course, going back to the beginning, if we go to the introduction to the programs, you'll see that you end up taking up one of the other ones. For example, if you're a diploma program teacher, you have a different version. You're going to listen to a diploma program podcast. You're going to hear about all the aspects of the diploma program and so on. So this introduction is meant to give a new teacher to the program, to any program, a quick look at how to get themselves up to speed so they can talk the language, so they have some of the verbiage, which there is a lot of it. There's also a lot of acronyms to learn, and this should get you started. So please give us feedback, and if you have a chance to try this, let us know how this works for you. And I'd love to hear stories of how you're using it in your school. Like I said, just even today, I talked to one of our local coordinators who takes her new teachers through this collectively as a group, but you certainly can use this as an individual if you just want to learn more about the IB. So thank you for your attention.